Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to session I.1 of the 2023 Online Writing Centers Association Virtual Conference. My name is Madeline Carroll. I am the Accessibility Chair of OWCA. I will be moderating this session along with Shin, who will be kind of helping out with the technology side of things. During this session, we are going to have Tara Thompson, Colton Wanstitler, can I say that right? And Greta Silva Million, facilitating a roundtable entitled The Barriers of Multimodal Tutoring, Preparing Tutors for Diverse Approaches to Feedback. Let me change my slides here. Just a few basic participation guidelines. First, please note that we are recording today's session. So if you have a question but would prefer not to be recorded, please feel free to just send a message in the chat. Next, please note that we have sign language interpreters with us from More Interpreting. The interpreters will be spotlighted during the talk, but if you cannot see them at any point, please send us a direct message via chat and we will fix that for you. We ask that you refrain from turning on your own audio unless you are speaking. However, please feel free to post comments and questions in the slides, in the chat at any time. And just a quick refresher on how to get to the chat. Select the chat button at the bottom of the Zoom screen and a new window will appear with the chat window. Now I'm going to hand things over to our presenters to get us started.
Hi, everyone. Can you see the screen? Great. So thank you so much for being here with us today. We are excited to share our roundtable presentation, The Barriers of Multimodal Tutoring, Preparing Tutors for Diverse Approaches to Feedback with all of you. This session will focus on the ways in which we all prepare our tutors to participate in multimodal tutoring while emphasizing diversity. We aim to engage in shared learning and the generation of ideas during this session. Before diving into the presentation, I want to draw your attention to the QR code displayed on the screen. By scanning this code, you will be given access to the script that we have prepared. We have made the intentional decision to read from scripts as this practice is more accessible for our audience members. So I want to start with a brief agenda before we head into the land acknowledgement here. So first we will start with the College of Lake County's land acknowledgement and a reflection. Next, we will introduce ourselves. After those introductions, we will take a few minutes to create shared agreement for the session. Then we will move into the history of our center. Afterwards, we will discuss the different modalities that our tutors currently operate in. Then we will discuss the ways in which we prepare our students to work with our institution's diverse population, as the College of Lake County is an HSI. And finally, we will present questions to the group and encourage idea generation and sharing. So the land acknowledgement here, I'll read aloud. We respectfully acknowledge that the College of Lake County is on the ancestral homelands of the Kickapoo, Peoria, Potawatomi, and other Native peoples. We recognize the long-standing significance of these lands for Indigenous peoples past, present, and future. Historical awareness of Indigenous exclusion and erasure is critically important to preventing further atrocities. The College of Lake County pledges to acknowledge the grave injustices of the past and pledges to create awareness and advance education that invites truth. Now, following the practice of Andrea Riley Mukovitz, we invite you to dwell in the histories of the lands of your local institutions, the places you are from, and Writing Center's role in these ongoing legacies of white settler colonialism. Thank you. So introductions. Hello, everyone. My name is Colton Wanstitler. My pronouns are he, him, and his, and I have been working at the Writing Center I have been working as the Writing Center coordinator at the College of Lake County since May of 2022. I came to this position after working for the Writing Center at Michigan State University, where I was the assistant director, and the Lansing Community College, where I was a professional tutor. At both of my former institutions, I led the team that developed and encouraged the campus to embrace their asynchronous programs.
All right, hi everyone. My name is Tara Thompson. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I was hired at the College of Lake County as a peer tutor in 2017. Since then, I've progressed through kind of a myriad of roles and now speak to you as the lead writing tutor for our center.
Hello, everyone. My name is Greta Silva Milian. My pronouns are she, her. I've been working at the College of Lake County Writing Center since 2016. I started as a peer writing tutor and have in recent years been promoted to lead tutor for the Lakeshore campus in Waukegan, Illinois. So from here, I'm going to kind of give you a brief history of our center. Throughout our time working for the center, many changes have occurred within our philosophies and practice. We started with only in-person sessions and handwritten session agenda sheets, focused on writing and reading concerns. From there, we, along with most of the world, transitioned into a solely online writing center when the pandemic began in 2020, though we had a limited online writing center in place since the spring of 2015. The pandemic compelled us to narrow down our processes for asynchronous feedback and live chat Google Docs sessions, as well as add an option for Zoom tutoring. Our aim was to ensure that students had access to the Writing Center, regardless of location and scheduling conflicts. A belief reflected in our unofficial motto throughout those years of remote work: we meet students where they're at. As we continue to seek growth for our center, we started to focus on anti-racism and equity to better educate ourselves on the injustices experienced by marginalized groups in America. Now, let's flash forward to 2022. The pandemic, quote unquote, ended, and we all transitioned back to in-person tutoring on campus. This was wonderful, except we now had to navigate how procedures written for a virtual format translated to in-person sessions. At this time, our center was focused on building rapport with students who at this point were unfamiliar with the physical space of the Writing Center. Now that we have all readjusted a bit to in-person tutoring, we seek to create a mission statement focused on social justice and radicalism for our center. Our coordinator, Colton, will now tell you more about the changes that have been implemented and what our 3-year plan looks like.
Sorry about that. I'm a fairly new administrator at the College of Lake County, joining the team in May of 2022. At this time, the Writing Center was in the midst of major changes, specifically a restructuring of the Tutoring Center. At the College of Lake County, the Writing Center and the Math Center and the Science Center are situated inside the Tutoring Center. My hire was the first of many that would be taking place as part of the reorganization. As is true of any reorganization, things got messy and then messier before they started to make sense and work for the mission of the college and center. During the reorganization, some positions were eliminated while others were created. They decided to eliminate the full-time positions that were housed at our satellite campuses, and then to split another position into 2 separate positions at the main campus. Then they decided that they wanted to implement a group of lead tutors, 7 total positions, to create growth within the center for our tutors. These positions were made possible by reclassifying existing positions, 3 of them, and then creating 4 others. Confused yet? Because I know I was. Needless to say, things were hectic and quite stressful during the first few months at the college. As a new employee, I spent my first few months serving on a total of 4 hiring committees, hiring a new peer tutor cohort. We aimed for 15, but our plans were thwarted by a budget crisis from student employment, and creating the 22-23 training series for the writing tutors, all while trying my best to create new relationships and connections with the tutor. As you can imagine, the tutors have been affected by this ambiguous and involving work environment over the past year, just as much as I have.
All right, so now I'm going to walk you through the session logistics. 2 appointments per day per class can be scheduled by a student 7 to 14 days in advance for either a 30 or 60-minute appointment. A student can schedule a 90-minute appointment, which consists of a 60-minute slot followed by a 30-minute slot. However, sessions must not exceed 90 minutes, about 1.5 hours per day per class. We encourage students to take a break between appointments to ensure tutoring is effective. Our guidelines state that sessions will wrap up at about the 55-minute mark for the 55-minute mark for 60-minute sessions and the 25-minute mark for 30-minute sessions. This allows our tutor to have time to complete their session notes and take a break before their next appointment.
Yeah, and then currently we also offer 4 modalities or types of tutoring at our center. These are in person at any of our 3 campus locations, online synchronous via Zoom or live chat in Google Docs, and asynchronous written feedback, which is conducted via email.
So apart from our tutoring sessions, we have 3 additional ways in which we support our college campus. First, we offer a robust embedded tutoring program for the English department. This program focuses on our English 100 courses, which is designed to accompany our English 121 course. Our embedded tutors will go into selected classrooms anywhere from twice a week to once every other week, depending on the resources available and the request of the instructor. Second, we offer Writing Center orientations to all courses across all 3 campuses. These orientations are shorter in length, generally lasting only 10 to 15 minutes. We invite instructors to request an orientation via a Microsoft form. From there, I will pair tutors and distribute these orientations based on schedules. These orientations may occur in many different spaces, such as in person in the Writing Center, in person in the classroom, or via Zoom. Additionally, we have started to supply our asynchronous courses with the video presentation of the orientation. The goals of these orientations are to help the students become more familiar with our services, locations, and how to engage with us. Finally, during the fall 22 semester, the Tutoring Center decided to launch a series of workshops available to the college campus. As the Writing Center coordinator, I thought that it was important to develop 3 workshops that would be universally beneficial. We plan to do a soft launch during the summer 23 semester and then a full launch in the fall 23 semester. The 3 topics that I decided to focus on at first are integrating sources, peer review, and plagiarism. These workshops will also embrace multimodalities to help our center be more accessible to the students of CLC. Now, how do we prepare our students for these many modalities? So first we have our English 260 course. Every tutor that works in our center is required to take our English 260 Introduction to Writing Center Theory and Practice. We acknowledge the financial barrier that this may place on students, which is why we offer all of our student employees a stipend that covers the total cost of this course. In the course, which our Writing Center faculty coordinator teaches, we ask students to engage with various authors, concepts, theories, and modalities so that we are best preparing our tutors to work with CLC's diverse population. At the end of this course, we ask that all tutors create their individual tutor philosophy and present them in whatever way they would like. At the end of the fall 22 semester, I was able to witness our 22-23 peer cohort present their philosophies through multimodalities. We had one student present artwork, another gave a dramatic reading, and yet another composed a few poems to encapsulate the way they viewed Writing Center pedagogies. While we know this course is not perfect, I do feel that the embrace of multimodalities helps our students become more familiar with our models of tutoring, which helps to ease the transition from their course to their work in the center.
This fall semester, we welcomed a new group of peer tutors to the center and hosted a kickoff for the entire tutoring center. The peer tutors got to meet and discuss with their mentor pairing during the kickoff and ask them any questions. Next, we all participated in team building activities. We discussed the role of a tutor in a session, which included building rapport, so we had the tutors get into pairs and act out different scenarios for our activity. These scenarios were made to give the tutor practice on handling situations that might be tricky. For example, we had a scenario about students having a question we can't answer or referring them to another resource within the college. From there, Colton spoke to the writing tutors about changes within the center and sessions for the upcoming semester.
Yeah, so as Greta touched on last fall, we had our tutors kind of meet in these mentor-mentee pairs, but historically, our mentorship program has been very touch and go. For example, when I was hired, as I said, in the fall of 2017, there was no official mentorship program. However, as we transitioned back to in-person tutoring in the fall of 21, we began a mentor program in which newly hired peer tutors were paired with experienced tutors on the same shift. However, aside from this pairing, there was no formal instruction regarding how mentorship works. Now, one of our professional tutors named Megan has assumed the role of mentorship program consultant and is actively working toward building a more robust program that we will hopefully implement in the fall of this year. Megan explained to me that the plan going forward is to front load interactions between mentors and mentees in the fall, which is when the new peer tutors start. And then peer tutors will observe a session with their mentor, and mentors will, kind of the reverse of that, eventually observe a session with their mentee. The spring semester mentor-mentee pairings will be the same, but meetings will be less frequent, and that's to give new tutors the space to kind of hone their craft.
Yeah, the next thing we offer is ongoing professional development. So when we were considering our professional development structure, we thought it was important to understand our institutional structure. So what I mean here is mainly the tutoring center is situated in the Department of Student Success. And within the tutoring center, there's the Math Center, Science Center, and the Writing Center. So since joining in May of 22, there have been many attempts to assimilate the pedagogies of the individual centers to be more, quote, consistent, end quote, for students. However, many of these attempts have been met with pushback from myself, my colleagues, and our tutors. One of these attempts has been the creation of a tutoring center professional development series that was implemented during the fall 22 semester. These sessions are intended to be applicable to a wider audience of tutors. However, in attempting to be applicable for tutors in the center, we are failing in meeting our tutors' need for subject-specific professional development. Simply put, the tutoring center is not doing a successful job in considering the diversity of our staff and thus building appropriate professional development sessions to further support them. One area that I do feel the tutoring center is doing well is in the modalities in which these sessions are offered.
So this past fall, so the same fall 22 semester that Colton had just mentioned, we set out to become a radical writing center. So the scholarship laying the foundation of this work is Laura Greenfield's Radical Writing Center Praxis, a paradigm for ethical political engagement. Our professional development training is hosted once a month and pairs one chapter of Greenfield's work with an in-person activity. Folks who can't attend are provided a makeup sheet that encourages them to engage with the same ideas during the in-person session. Some of the activities we've done thus far ask tutors to engage in active discussions that incorporate the text. We acknowledge that it can be hard for tutors to put theory into practice, and this is why we facilitate large group discussions that help us ensure everyone can voice their questions or concerns. So all of this considered, we are struggling. So one place in which we are struggling is ensuring each of our tutors feels sufficiently prepared to assist students in every modality. Many of our tutors have said that they feel ill-prepared specifically for live chat and written feedback sessions, though we have provided training and written instructions. Some comments from tutors have detailed that there's not enough training or exposure to these modalities, and that it feels too much like a teacher grading work. And these sentiments are echoed within Writing Center scholarship, such as Beth Hewitt's The Online Writing Conference. Moreover, when it comes to mentorship, figuring out what programming could benefit tutors remains a challenge. We know that we want mentorship to be a two-way street to minimize power imbalances between new and returning tutors, but we haven't we haven't outlined procedures to promote that. Finally, regarding our professional development sessions, some of our tutors have described that they find it difficult to understand what radicalism looks like in the center. Though we've often stated that we are building upon theory before turning to application, there still exists worry about applying this to our tutoring practices.
Great. So that kind of ends like our narrative and also like the framing of where we're at as a center. So now we're going to move into these questions. We have 4 questions that we want to spend some time discussing with all of you. So we're going to go into breakout rooms here and just discuss these 4 questions. So the first question is, what modes of feedback does your institution offer to students? So we expect a lot of similarities here, but we're also looking to learn from others if there's different programs that you use. We're also interested in like how your institution prepares tutors to provide that multimodal feedback. What ways are you struggling to prepare your students for that multimodal feedback? That way, we can help one another try to navigate that. And what can we do better to prepare our tutors for that? So I'll stop sharing my screen and we'll go into breakout rooms and then we'll come back at 40, if that's okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. It looks like we lost Greta.
I'll send her the link.
Okay, thank you. But thank you for, chit-chatting with us in our breakout rooms. I just wanted to spend the last couple minutes to see if because we are done at 1:45, correct? Yeah, okay. I just wanted to see if anyone talked about anything that they wanted to share with the whole group or if there are any questions that came up. Really open. That's okay if we don't have any questions. We can wrap up. We do have questions. Chris.
It's not a question. It's just I'll just say something that happened in the session. I found someone. It's Jenny down in my bottom left-hand corner, whose writing center seems to do online writing support really similarly to the way we do, asynchronous online writing support. So that was really interesting to see that because it feels very innovative and it's really valuable the way we do this. And we hear from students that it's really valuable the way we provide support. It's not editing, it's very facilitative. And for me, like being a writing professional for quite a long time, it is, it's a sophisticated sort of very, I can't imagine, just like doing this as an undergraduate without a lot of mentoring and support and scaffolding. It's very focused on educational theory and writing center theory. So I'm amazed that consultants get up to speed so quickly and do this. And then I find around the country, I think UNLV also, I know someone in Nevada does something similar. And so it's good to see to make those connections. And I just happened to make a connection with our pedagogy here in the session. So thanks for pairing me up with Cal State.
Absolutely. I was actually had the honor of having Chris and Jenny in my breakout room, and just seeing the similarities between their center was really great. And I also know that personally, I was just taking notes the whole time because their centers seem really amazing. So it's like Chris said, it's amazing to see the similarities between the centers.
All right, any other comments or questions for us today? Awesome. Well, thanks so much for sharing your afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you're at with us. We really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.